I have one retired guy.
Jerry knows about it. 99%. 99%.
You want to do that? You want to roll the dice on that?
I mean, we're 99.8%.
And it's true.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I did text him, trust me.
And I cleaned it up before I texted him.
Yeah, he was all fired up. He told me. Absolutely.
So I said, if you're serious, I know what I was
He
telling you.
did say he'll let him get some. I'm like, yeah.
But no, not a big deal.
Yeah, both of these are full. I'm not wearing it to get
Whatever you tell me what it is. We're all on another project team.
Not too small. Are you serious? I was just thinking that. Admin, that Well, the good thing about the class is nobody expects them to go fast and they all move around. So we just
reconvene to the regular session and welcome everyone to the meeting tonight. So we'll start off by the Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Please remain standing for
how that special opportunity came about and what it means to our community. Jonathan Fry, please show tonight's inspiring moment.
The morning begins. Cool, humid. Early risers make preparations for the day's events. Travelers from afar begin to arrive, a trickle at first, then a true Texas flood. Thousands come, and one by one they begin their rituals, preparing their minds and bodies for battle, hoping in the end to win gold. The crowd cheers ecstatically as the events begin. A fervent voice is heard over the din of the masses, cheering on their son or daughter to victory or disappointment. Records rise and fall like the temperature at Humble ISD's Turner Stadium, host site of the 2016 AAU Junior Olympic Games.
This is the end, this is the mecca, this is the Junior Olympics. You know, you worked hard all year, all summer, and it's the best thing for them.
Humble ISD didn't always have the ability to host events like this. It took vision, planning, and perhaps a little faith.
Received a crazy phone call. It was a lady. Said she heard we put on good track meets. Wanted to look at bringing a national track meet here, and we had a 45-year-old facility. And I said, well, I tell you what, you come on out tonight. I'll be there for a sub-varsity football game, and I can show you around. And hung up, thought it was a big joke. I showed her around the old facility, but we were in the planning purposes for what we were going to do to design a stadium. Told her about kind of the vision. Still thought there was no way. There's not a facility. It was all a vision. To add those 3 venues to our renovations cost a little bit over $120,000 to go. We've always had a board that believed in what athletics did for the education of a child. So, I mean, that part we've always been extremely blessed that we've had a very supportive board. They approved it, we did, and the first one kind of got us on the map.
And for a high school stadium, this is one of the best I've ever seen in my life. So I really love the hospitality that, you know, the whole organization inside the facility, inside the school is giving us, showing us a lot of love.
I think that's the key. That a little over 100, and I'll say 125,000, you know, investment from the board. The very first thing we did when the old stadium, we had no secondary access route to this facility. So there was only one way in and out. And so you can imagine the congestion and nightmare that goes with a sporting event here. So during the first one in 12, the Houston Sports Authority paid for the second access route, which goes out the back of the stadium. They also added a video board, and they also added the awnings. So in the very first meet in 12, it was right at $1.6 million in infrastructure improvements that they gave to the facility. I joked, there was a neighboring district that was building a brand new stadium, and they were coming over, and at the time we were the largest. And they looked at our board, hey, your board's great, but we want you to know ours is going to be bigger. And I chuckled, and I actually patted one of the board members on the back. I said, yeah, but you know the biggest difference? And he goes, no, what? I said, we didn't pay anything for ours. And that's a source of pride. We've been creative of how we do things. We have an access road that we didn't pay for, a video board that we didn't pay for, fiber optics, an elevator, the awnings. I mean, we have benefited tremendously because we've developed that relationship with the Houston Sports Authority. I think we do a great job in assisting the education of our kids. Athletics is a vehicle. We use that vehicle to enhance their academics, and I think we do a great job of that. This facility is just another example of how we do things first class, and we're enhancing their experience while they're kids.
Just about every year we have some special event at Turner Stadium, and it really is a great opportunity for our kids.
Turner Stadium is definitely an extended classroom, because whenever you get to Turner Stadium, especially working with Rusty Odom, you're going to learn a lot more. It becomes more like a job than it does a learning experience.
You know, they're making connections, they're learning job responsibilities, they're learning, what it's really like to be on a job site doing a job as opposed to the classroom, and it's really eye-opening for them, and it's a great experience for them to work these big professional events like we have here at Turner Stadium.
In this meet alone, they have right at 14,000 people registered, and that's coaches and athletes, which is in their top 4 of all-time events. And so those people are all staying in our area, and they're eating in our area. This is their vacation. $125,000 is an enormous amount of money. But when I go places nationally now, and I say I'm from Humble, Turner Stadium, I mean, they know us nationally. And you look at the millions and millions that we've benefited and the community's benefited, it's been a blessing.
I would like to recognize 2 of our stars from the video, Troy Kite, our athletic director, who was instrumental in bringing these events to the Humble area, and Rusty Odom, audiovisual teacher at Kingwood High School. Mr. Odom leads students in running the cameras and video equipment at the stadium. So thank you to both of them. Okay, on to special recognition. We also have some students to recognize tonight. I'm going to ask Dr. Charles Ned, Director of Advanced Academics, to come forward now.
Thank you, Dr. Fagan. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Fagan, Cabinet members, and our guests and our parents, and of course our distinguished alumni of Humble Independent School District. Tonight, the Department of Advanced Academics is proud to recognize 9 members of the Humble High School class of 2016 who recently earned the prestigious International Baccalaureate Diploma. This is a rare event because it's very difficult to get our graduates to come back, as many of them have ventured off to schools. In order to earn the IB diplomas, these students went through an extensive amount of writing. I'm sure they can all tell you about the 4,000-word extended essay assignment, in addition to what Ms. Lane classes afforded them during that time. They also completed 4 years of foreign language and 150 hours of community service. The fact that these students have chose to engage in the most rigorous curriculum offered here in Humble Independent School District and earning the IB diploma will definitely benefit them as they begin their post-secondary journey. At this time, our board president, Mr. Lopez, and our superintendent of schools, Dr. Fagan, will come forward to present a board commendation to each one of our IB diploma recipients. Students, please come forward when your name is called. And I'll ask that you remain standing so at the end we can get a group photo. Our first IB diploma recipient is Allison Bynum. Allison plans to attend the Parsons New School for Design in New York, and she's going to major in communication design. Mom, Dad, if you want to come up a little bit closer and get a picture, you're more than welcome.
We didn't rehearse this.
Next up, Melinda Calderon. Melinda is going to attend the University of Texas at Austin, and she's going to major in international relations. Next up, Anthony Jones. Anthony will be attending Baylor University. You're leaving tomorrow, right? Next month. And he's going to major in biology pre-med. Aaliyah Mendez. Aaliyah will be attending Texas A&M University, and she will major in psychology. Rhoda Oladapo. Rhoda is going to attend Texas State University, and she will major in biochemistry. Cody Price. Cody is also the class valedictorian, and he will be attending the University of Texas at Austin, majoring in neuroscience pre-med. Rama Salim. Rama will be attending the University of Houston, and she'll be majoring in biology. Ruben Zarate. Ruben will be attending Texas A&M University and will major in agriculture. Architecture, I'm sorry. And we have one more recipient who's unable to join us because he has two-a-day football, so he's at football practice right now. Langston Tunson, he's attending Houston Baptist University. And I'll accept that one on his behalf. At this time, I'd like to also recognize members of the Humble High School faculty who's here to join us, and I'd like for Ms. Ulrich to come up and get a picture with all of her IB diploma recipients.
Thank you, everyone. 2, 3, a little more. 1, 2, thank you. You're gonna have a couple more cameras coming your way.
Okay, that was awesome. Next, we have questions and comments by patrons or employees of the district regarding agenda items or any other matters. So, we have Courtney. Are you here? Oh, yes.
Okay. So the board packet, I kind of got to glance briefly at it this morning. And I just had some concerns about some of the policy changes on BQA and BQB local. I did send y'all an email that you probably haven't gotten to because I just sent it this morning. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and address it now before y'all discuss it later. This is addressing the proposed changes to BQA and BQB local as it relates to parents serving on site-based and campus-based decision-making committees. And I appreciate that you guys are looking at changes to tighten up the policy and to include more parents. The revisions proposed in BQA local strikes the requirement that the principals solicit parent volunteers for the district level committee. Instead, the revisions state that the parent will be selected by the principal from the site-based committee. And then the revisions in BQB local state that parents on the site-based committee are to be appointed by the parent-teacher organization, which I believe that would be the PTA or then the PTO. And I don't feel like it's appropriate to include only parents who are members of a parent-teacher organization as part of the district decision-making committee. Parents must pay a fee to be a part of these organizations. While it may be difficult for some to imagine, many parents may not actually have the funds to join. It's super expensive to send kids back to school. Further, some PTA planning events take place during business hours, excluding many working parents. So I just would like y'all, when you discuss this, to kind of look at maybe these volunteers not having to come from the parent-teacher organizations, because it does exclude a whole body of parents that may want to be included in the process.
Okay.
And that's it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next we have Carla Winfront, Crosby ISD.
Greetings, my name is Carla Mills Winfront, and I'm here for a total surprise of a trustee. I looked at the vision that Humble ISD had, and it said you worked on collaboration, you worked on rigor, you worked on everything. Well, we have a trustee that spent 10 months last year with the Texas. Can you figure it out now? Angela, come on over here. Leadership Tasby. She has got the title or received the title as Master Trustee. She spent 10 months last year working on how to research, collaborate, best practices for policy and procedure, learning. I could go on with the list, but I am here as a fellow trustee from Crosby ISD and also a Texas Leadership alumni to extend this certificate to her. It reads, Angela Conrad, Humble ISD, a lifetime member in the Leadership TASB Alumni Association, a network of school board trustees who work to enhance school governance in Texas and ensure that all children have future success. Angela, congratulations. This is an honor, a big honor for Humble ISD.
Have comments by individual board members, and I'll start to my right. Ms. Nancy Morrison.
Okay, first of all, I know that our students have left, but my sincere congratulations to those graduates. I look forward to hopefully maybe hearing back from you too. Secondly, I found out very shortly today that we will begin junior Rotarians. Thank you very much, Dr. Fagan. We'll be working with the area, our high schools and getting some junior Rotarians going, and which is thirdly, Mrs. Peggy Young, I'm not sure what I'll do without you. Oh, but it has been wonderful. So I get a little sentimental. But honestly, you have made my year, my first year, absolutely as easy as it possibly could be. And I wish you so well. And you're going to get the rosy cheeks. Because believe it or not, you won't be staying up all night. Taking care of all of us. So, I'm going to miss you.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. Mr. Sidden?
Yeah, and I'll start with congratulating my colleague, Ms. Conrad. That was a tremendous effort on your part. A lot of time went into that, and we're very proud of you and your accomplishments. Also, I'd like to announce that my colleague to my right, Ms. Nancy Morrison, has been elected to join that group this year. So she'll be going through Leadership TASB this year. The Junior Olympics, I think if y'all saw in the last part of the video, $21 million economic impact to our community. I think the official numbers came out, and it was the largest grossing gate receipt AAU Junior Olympic ever held. Is that correct, Mr. Kite? I mean, just phenomenal work that they did in conjunction with the Humble ISD and the Harris County Sports Authority to bring this event here. We're part of that rotation now, and hats off to all the volunteers that made that happen. I was out of town last week, and we've had a lot of stuff happen over the last few weeks. Most of you know Congressman Poe, who lives right here in Atascocita. He's battling leukemia right now, and still working from his hospital bed and going through all of his treatments. So I just want to give a shout out to him and his team and his family, that they continue to be in our thoughts and prayers. But last week was a tough week. I was on vacation and checking emails and started seeing things that were just kind of hard to take. You may remember, I guess it was about 2 years ago now, Coach West, the head football coach, athletic coordinator at Noble High School, donated a kidney
yeah,
to his wife, and her body started to shut down a few months ago, and she went into ICU and she passed away a week ago. and that's someone near and dear to our heart and our family of Humble ISD. And then a couple days later, I'm checking emails again, and Wayne Robbins from Robbins Chevrolet, one of the oldest continuous running businesses in our community, Old Humble, graduated from Humble High School, family in Kingwood, and the amount of money that they've donated back to our community and back to our school district that has directly affected our kids. You can't put a price tag on what they've done and what that family has meant to not only Humble ISD, but the entire community, the greater Humble community in Lake Houston area. And so, it's just been a tough week. If you've been here long enough to know some of these folks, it's been a really tough week to take with some of these things that have happened. So keep these families in your thoughts and prayers, please. They mean a lot to our community. They mean a lot to our school district, and we do appreciate that. And so lastly, I'll turn the page a little bit, but not much. Miss Young, for those of you who don't know, tonight is Miss Young's last board meeting with us. She's retiring. And again, we knew it was coming, but we thought that we could talk her into staying through Christmas, but I don't think that's going to happen. But Miss Young, in the 5 years I've been on the board, starting my 6th year, I can echo what Miss Morrison said. You made the transition from private life to public life very easy. You helped show me the ropes on how to stay organized, and last year as president of the board, we spent way too much time together. People started talking, but you've been instrumental in, we always talk about the team of 8, and we probably should have been saying the team of 9, because you've been very instrumental in helping us do what we do, and in the end, it helps our kids grow. So hats off to you, and we're going to miss you, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sitton. Ms. Conrad.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank Carla for being here. Did she leave?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I saw her still here. I do want to say one of the greatest things about the program was the relationships that you make with other trustees, and so you'll look forward to that. I got to spend time with another trustee from Crosby, Miss Tanya Eagleton, and those relationships will continue. We'll continue to learn from one another and bounce ideas off each other and things like that. So that was a great surprise to have them here for that recognition, and congratulations, Nancy. I look forward to continuing to learn through you. So great experience. Also want to, the Junior Olympics, and thank you for doing the video also, because I don't know why I didn't even think about their learning opportunities for the students, and that they would be involved in all the audio-visual aspects of producing that whole thing. So it's just amazing the scope of what all takes place during that. So thank you for organizing that, and just the opportunities that exist for our kids and our families here. I do want to welcome everyone back. Now that I guess everyone's back on contract, or most of the 209s, 225s, whatever. So welcome back. Thanks for coming back, and welcome those new teachers to our Humble ISD family. We're certainly glad you're here, and I really have enjoyed seeing how we've changed even through the summer and through our professional development, how we're more collaborating on how we learn together as well. So I'm seeing not so much learning in isolation, but learning across campuses, and so that's pretty exciting to see. Everybody taking advantage of learning from each other's strengths, and so that's really good. And Peggy, you know I have to say something too. Yeah,
Not tonight.
I mean, to me, the greatest thing is that you could make that so easy on anyone new coming in and not having any idea about procedures, and just being so patient with us. And I'm pretty sure I didn't have a clue what I was getting into with politics and things like that, so I apologize. I know I called crying a couple times and you consoled me and talked me through the process, and so I just appreciate in every way that you have supported me, and you will be greatly missed, and your husband as well. It's been a joy to know your family.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Conrad. Mr. Cunningham.
Thank you, Mr. President. Coach Kite, wanted to say congratulations. Job well done for you and your staff and team. Really appreciate all the efforts that you guys gave. Nancy, congratulations. You're going to really enjoy the leadership TASB. Angela, congratulations on getting through it. And a happy belated birthday to you. And to my other cohort there, Mr. Sitton, you got a birthday coming up, so I'm gonna tell you happy birthday now. Oh yeah, I know I am. I'm like that. And I'm gonna just end it real short and say that Peggy, you know I gotta say something too, because I've been knowing her when she was Peggy Jackson. So, but I do want to say thank you. You know, me and my family and Stella, you've meant so much to us. All this time that you was dating Tommy, I didn't know that. I used to work with her husband, you know, so all of a sudden she said, yeah, I married Tommy Young. I was like, man, I know Tommy. Didn't tell me. But really, you know, the toughest year I had was the year that I was president, and wouldn't have made it if it wouldn't have been for you, with all the things that was going on. And I look and see where we're at now, and it truly, as I heard somebody say, the team of 8 is really a team of 9. And so I really appreciate it. Miss you. Gonna love you always.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Rushing.
Sure. A lot of the same sentiments, I think, from my standpoint. First of all, to I guess what's really now Master Angela Conrad. There's a fancy title that came along with this, by the way, and she is now a master. She's a master of something. So we'll congratulate her and maybe change her nameplate for at least one meeting. Troy, you know, can't say enough about you and your leadership. I have a team that has a small role with the AAU Junior Olympics and covering all of the medical that comes up during the event. And so spent some time out there to see kind of firsthand what was going on. Spent most of the day out there Saturday watching the finals of the events. And I'll tell you, you'd never know that a crowd of that many people were there, because it was that efficiently run and organized, everything under control. It just speaks, I think, to the partnership. Yeah, there's others involved from the AAU, the Sports Authority, et cetera, but to have a facility that's managed like that and at the highest standard certainly makes it easier for the folks that are running the meet. So Troy, to you and your team, congrats on another job very well done. And I don't know, another 3 to 5 years, we'll do it all over again, right? So we just want to recognize Norman out in the, I don't know if this is your first meeting post-retirement. Is that right? So I want to congratulate my good friend Norman Funderburk in the audience for his retirement, and look forward to what his future may have in store for him. So thanks for always being here and for supporting us, and hope you enjoyed your trip and many more trips to come, I hope. So. And to Peggy, you know, two-thirds of my time up here is in this seat right here, right next to you. So, you know, certainly from my standpoint, you know, being one of the newer members up here, it was certainly comforting to have you there, especially last year, spending my time as parliamentarian, keeping Robert Sinton straight as president. Together, we did one hell of a job. So I appreciate everything you've done over the last 3+ years now, and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Mr. Rushing. I just have a few quick comments. I'd first like to recognize the IB students. That is a heck of an accomplishment. IB is a very difficult program to get through, and for those students to have done that, you can tell how sharp and awesome they were by the colleges they were going to. It's a very proud moment to see those kids and those students come back and accept the recognition that we can give them, because they deserved it, every minute of it. Angela and Nancy. Angela, congratulations, and Nancy, good luck to you on the master trustee path. Junior Olympics, not too many people know this. The whole vision of Turner Stadium was Troy Kite's. That's his vision that has come to fruition. and you see it paid off many times over with the Junior Olympics and all the other events that we have there, not only high school football, but many other events. It's just a wonderful state-of-art facility that we can be proud of in this district, and it's just simply awesome. Of course, Heath recognized him. Welcome, Mayor Pro Tem Funderburk. We appreciate that, you being here tonight. Last but certainly not least, I want to recognize Peggy Young. Peggy Young, her official title is Executive Secretary for Dr. Sconzo and the board, but her other titles are Den Mother, Cat Herder, and many others that she has. Peggy is a very diligent person, very nice person, somebody who keeps us from getting in trouble, I guess you could say, and missing deadlines and doing other things. She is simply just an awesome person. I think that's the best words to describe her. And a sharpshooter, so be careful on that one too. I've known Peggy now for a little over 11 years very well, and when I came onto the board, I was a kid and didn't know what I was doing, and Peggy and a few others, but in particular Peggy took me under her wing and basically taught me the ropes of being a board member and what I need to do and read and all these other things, and answered questions and make sure I didn't look dumb. And she has just been there for all of us, and on top of that, she has to be the secretary for the superintendent and all the things the superintendent has to do and keep his schedule. So it's a high wire juggling act that person and that job has to do, and let me tell you that Peggy Young did it great. And Peggy, we are going to miss you terribly, and being the president this year, I'm a little disappointed that you're not going to be around, but I know that you and Tom have got plans, and Humble ISD is something that you're ready to move on from, but we're going to miss you dearly, and that's all I can say. But what I'd like the rest of the board members to do is gather around front. We have a little something for you here, Peggy.
Come on. You want Peggy too, right? You want Peggy?
Yes, Peggy, you have to come too. Yes, absolutely.
That's right. How many of those of y'all are doing that? Huh? Anybody got napkin tissue in the house there?
Yeah. When people retire from Humble ISD, they get ubiquitous crystal bowl. And if anyone has earned it here, it's been Peggy Young.
That's what we needed to You can pick and choose your hours.
That is a big bowl. Okay, and that's it from comments by individual board members. Dr. Fagan?
Thank you. Well, it's the most exciting time of the year, back to school time. Lots of things underway. New teachers tomorrow morning, convocation next week. Can't hardly believe it. Been here for a little over 4 weeks, and Peggy, I just have to say that as the newest member of this group, everything they said and more is absolutely true. On days when you wonder if you have bitten off more than you can chew, you're always there to help and to make sure that everything goes well. Nothing is dropped. The art and science of calendaring is complete, and people have everything that they need to be successful. And behind a successful team of 8 is and has been you. So thank you so much for everything that you've done for me over the past 4 weeks. It's really been incredibly helpful. Your talent is unmatched in my experience. So it's been my honor and pleasure to work with you, and I'm still going to try to campaign to keep you, but because I just have that, refusal to accept moment. But I know that you always say to me, I'm still around. I'm just a phone call away, but I'll miss you, and I thank you for everything. So back to the work of the district here, I would like to invite Terrell Palmer forward. We, as you probably recall at the last board meeting, you all approved us to go forward with the sale and refinancing of some bonds, and I'd love to give an update on on that item. Thank you.
Happy to jump right in. Again, it's Terrell Palmer, Managing Director of First Southwest. Good to see you all. Mike called and said, hey, I'd like for you to come up and give a report. And I said, post-mortem. And I said, no, that sounds a little dreary, and I've been thinking about kind of what it is, because we normally will just send out an email after the bond sale and kind of talk about, how it went. But I thought about it, and I think this is really more of a declaration of victory. And I'll give a little bit of history lesson here. In May of 2008, y'all called a bond election for $244,920,000 in bonds, and that election, passed overwhelmingly. We started issuing our first phase of bonds with that, and y'all don't know how I work with the finance department that much, and what we do is we design a tax rate model that predicts what the tax rate will be with the full issuance of these bonds. And there's a lot of variables that go into that model, from growth in assessed value to collection rate to state assistance to you have TERS payments. You actually have some tax increment reinvestment zone payments, interest rates on the bonds. We assumed a rate of 4.75% on those bonds. And that's probably the most nervous part of my job as being your financial advisor, is making that promise to the public that my board members are taking out there to the public and saying that the impact of this election will only be 4 cents. And things change, and they did changed a lot with our credit meltdown in 09 and 10, and we slowed things up, and interest rates kind of moved in our favor. But this sale, or a portion of this sale that we have executed last Tuesday, was for the final installment of that election. And I'm very happy to report that I see zero pressure with maintaining that promise that we provided to the public of keeping our tax rate, our INS tax rate, at 35 cents. I see no problems with keeping that tax rate right where it should be. It also provides you with an incredible amount of capacity in the future, and I think that we're going to be able to pay off our debt quickly and have a lot of capacity for additional issuance. I look back at our old models in 2008, and with the lower interest rates, with the savings that we were able to achieve with different refundings, I believe that we've saved over $100 million in interest on our bonds over that period. And so it really is a success story, a victory, so to speak, with that with that tax rate model and what your promises were to the public. Now, to talk about the specific sale that we went through, with every sale, we go to the two rating agencies that help us, and that's Moody's and Standard & Poor's. We did have your ratings confirmed, and I'm very proud of the Moody's rating at a AA1. And that is the highest AA rating that there is. The only other rating above that is AAA. And there's only 8 school districts in the state of Texas with a higher rating than Humble ISD. If we put that into percentile as we do with everything, we're in the 97th percentile in the state with that Moody's rating. S&P has its back a little bit I think it's 88th percentile, and that's probably a little bit of work to do, a little bit of education there for S&P, but still very high ratings in the AA category for S&P as well. So as I mentioned, we did sell almost $50 million of your remaining authorization. Those interest rates, I've been in the business for coming up on 30 years, never seen interest rates as low as it has been. Last week we were able to sell your new money bond portion. They went out a little bit longer at a rate of 2.88%. So that's long-term fixed rate bonds at 2.88%. It's amazing. But the majority of our issue was a refunding, and this was refunding of older bonds that we had sold in 2007, 8, and 9 at interest rates almost 5%, 5% interest rate on those bonds. We were able to refinance those bonds, a lot like you would refinance your home mortgage, your car notes, or other things like that, and we were able to drop that interest rate down to 2.27%. And this was on an amount of over $250 million of your outstanding bonds, or over 41% of your outstanding debt. And so it's one thing to achieve a lot of savings, on a refunding, but to do that with such a large portion of your bonds, I just don't think your timing could have been any better. That difference between that 5% rate on your old bonds and the 2.27% equated to almost $44 million in present value savings. What we do in our banking business is we divide that savings by the number of bonds, and we come up with another percentage there, and it's 17% for you. We consider in our business a minimum amount of savings that you would want to get from a refunding would be about 5%. So you're over 3 times the amount that I would consider to be a significant refunding. And so it really was a very significant day really for the district and the taxpayers of the district as we were able to lock in these really historically low rates. I really don't mean to take my 5 minutes and come up here and start patting myself on the back because Humble ISD really made this happen by being really a destination district, or really a pinnacle of one of the school districts in the state. As we know, assessed value growth is very important, but having those kids continue to move into Humble ISD and to enjoy your great facilities is really kind of what makes all of this math that we work on work out. So again, it was a wonderful transaction, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. So just I want to reiterate one comment you made. I think we've done in the last roughly 6 years 3 or 4 refundings.
Yes.
And that saved the taxpayers an estimated $100 million.
No, I would think that the assumption that we made on our interest rates on our new money issues at 4.75%, and then the interest rates that we actually received plus the refunding, all probably added up to more than $100 million.
More than
worth of
$100 million
yeah.
savings.
Yeah, we had, and I went through it pretty quickly, but the interest rates on the bonds that we issued were 4.13, 4.26, and then interest rates really started dropping. For our last two sales were 3.06, and then the 2.88 that we just sold. And so that was that was probably I would say that was probably about $40 million of the interest savings, because of those lower than expected rates. And then we probably picked up another $60, $70 million from our refundings, of which this one that we just completed is going to be $44 million of that.
Fantastic. And that, I'd like to remind our colleagues that also we were able to do every project that was in the 2008 bond referendum and have enough money left over to buy property for 6 new schools and build 3 of those new schools, 2 of which are under construction right now. So thank you for all the work you've done to help us get there.
Any other questions for Mr. Palmer?
Thank you.
Mr. Palmer, I would like to thank you and your company for your history with the district and your support and the great work that you guys do. And here's looking to more bonds in the future, which we're going to need in a couple of years for sure.
I've got another 59% of your debt to refund.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, we'll keep you around for sure. Thanks, Mr.
Great.
Palmer.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
it. Okay. All right. We're now for the action agenda. We'll start with the closed session and consideration of action items on items that were addressed in closed session. Mr. Cunningham?
Yes, Mr. President. As to personnel, I move that the board approve the administration's personnel recommendations as presented with addendum.
Second. Motion is second. All in favor? 7-0. Yes, sir.
Also, Mr. President, as to civil action number 416-CV-01241, Morgan versus Humble ISD, I move that the board authorize general counsel to proceed with direction from the board as discussed in executive session.
Second.
The motion is second. All in favor? 6-0.
Also, Mr. President, as to the minutes, I move that the board approve the minutes of the regular board meeting that was held on July 12, 2016.
All in favor? 6-0. That's it. All right, we have updates on board associations and committees. Audit committee, Mr. Cunningham.
Mr. President, you board members should have before you the stats for this month's audit. I believe if you have any questions, please let Mr. Rushing or I think it's Mr. Ingalagi, he's not here, myself, or Mr. Sean.
Okay. All right, boards and superintendent evaluation process and goals committee.
That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
So we have our workshop for next week, the 16th, and prior to that, so like tomorrow, I'll send you the self-evaluation document that you can complete prior to that workshop, so we'll be able to review that during that time together.
Awesome. Okay, building and planning committee. Does somebody want to jump in for Mr. Ingalagi?
Yeah, I'll do that for him. We are meeting Thursday. We've got PBK Architects coming in to help Dr. Fagan get up to speed on the facility study. They're going to give us a nice update on that. Getting very close to completing that. As everyone knows, it's a full facility study from the rooftops to the flower beds of every facility within the district. It's going to become our I guess our playbook for the future on capital projects, and they've been working on it since January. So very comprehensive, looking at, again, every facility, wing additions, tear down rebuilds, everything's on the table, just so we know exactly where we're at and where we're going for the future. The groundbreaking for the elementary school in the Groves is on the 18th. Are we doing both on that day, or we? Yes. Yeah, we're doing both the middle school and the elementary. in the Groves on the 18th. So that land's been cleared. You can see a lot of movement happening out there, so it's pretty exciting times. So that is building and planning.
Awesome. Thank you for stepping in, Mr. Sitton. Education Foundation, Mr. Cunningham.
We have a meeting coming up, I believe. I see Ms. Malbaron. There she is right there. I believe it's going to be Tuesday. Have an executive board meeting, and then on Thursday we have the directors meeting of next week. So report at the next board meeting.
We have lots of reports coming up for the new school year starting. We're looking forward to that. Finance Committee, Mr. Rushing.
Yes, probably received about the best Finance Committee report you could just witness, so appreciate the effort behind that. Again, just want to thank Mr. Seal for all the work and shepherding this process through for us with the transition of superintendents and sort of bringing Dr. Fagan along with the process very, very quickly and doing so without any pause. So that was a fantastic transition, so appreciate all of that. As a committee, we have finalized our calendar finally for this year, this coming year. We've got, I believe, 5 meetings on the books, 2 in the fall, 3 in the spring. And so appreciate Mr. Inglagi and Ms. Morrison for being a part of that scheduling process and look forward to those meetings. Next one will be September 27th.
Awesome. Legislative Committee, Ms. Morrison.
Sorry, Mr. Cunningham.
They're easily confused. Okay, sorry.
Legislative committee was meeting prior to the September board meeting. Start setting up the process for, and we'll be connected with
Awesome. Program Committee, Mr. Sitton.
Yes, we met prior to the meeting tonight, and then we're meeting again on the 23rd to lay out our scope of work for the year. So next month we'll have a better report with our scope of work for the year and our updates from there.
Great. The Technology and Data Governance Committee, also known as the Conrad Committee.
Our committee meets monthly because we do so much work. We'll continue to meet monthly on the first Tuesday of each month, so that tells you when the next. So we met last week, and can I share? I would like to thank. Can I say? I would like to thank Mr. Arthur Allen for his service to our district. He is going to be leaving us to pursue another opportunity. And we appreciate where you've taken us as a district and how you've really helped the culture in your department, as well as working together with our academics department to make instruction what drives our decision making in technology. So thank you, sir, and we wish you well. So if you weren't aware, Mr. Allen's leaving. We'll be posting that position soon, so spread the word. You know, have some talented people in technology. We definitely want to recruit them to be part of our family. We did have quite a few updates on several of our summer projects. Their team is working quite a bit over the summer under the direction of a new project manager, which I've personally heard from some team members. Lots of great positive things to say about having that additional support for them as they go through projects, since they are not project managers themselves. You might also be interested to know about the kindergarten iPad project that will put 5 devices in each kindergarten classroom, so it'll be kind of like a station that they can have. So that's all set up and ready to go for each of the elementary campuses. One of my favorite updates was our group-wise migration plan. If you're not aware of group-wise, that's our email system. The decision has been made to begin a migration over to Google Gmail, which I'm ecstatic about. So our productivity is going to go way up, I'm telling you. So we're excited about that. You'll have an opportunity to opt into that if you want to be one of those early adopters.
Please.
We'll all be lining up to be guinea pigs for that. Because I feel like we've been guinea pigs this whole time, basically. The other exciting thing I thought that I made note of that you might, I also sent you an update on the board, the online agenda system. Just to kind of summarize that again for you and give you some resources of other districts and what they've chosen to use as their online system. So I kind of summarized that for you to take a look there again. And if you still have questions where we need to look at it a little bit further, we can go into looking at having that time at a workshop or something where you could see it. But you can get the full demo. I think if you visit those district websites, you'll get a feel for what the public side looks like too, in terms of seeing how the agenda works for the public viewing as well.
Is the committee going to put forth a recommendation between board docs and the other one?
The committee is.
Okay, good.
I've maybe alluded to that in the email.
Well, I know you are. I just want to make sure that it is publicly known that the committee is going to present that.
Yes. After many hours of...
I want to ask a question about that too. So I did look, so I know where y'all are leaning, I think, but there were also two different options with that.
Mm-hmm.
One was quite a bit more expensive than the other, and I'd like the full recommendation and why on that as well.
Absolutely. And that's what that matrix was
Yeah,
too, to kind of
that's-
determine.
Some of that stuff, I'm like, you know, do we really need it, do we not need it, and does it justify
Or do
the
we want to
cost?
scale maybe later when we
Yeah,
have...
does it
Yeah.
justify the cost? That's why, yeah. So
Exactly.
I'll go with y'all's judgment on that, but I'd just like to know.
Okay. And of course, welcome any questions you might have, and I have the contacts for those companies as well, as other district board members too. And then finally, one last thing I wanted to share was the Zoom video conference license. They've purchased 150 licenses, which is like 2 per campus, to be able to do desktop video conferencing. So that's not limited to just meetings and things like that, but they can use those for virtual classroom trips and things like that. So instead of having the video conferencing big unit, the H.323, you got to roll through, it'll be like webcam video conferencing, can go from classroom to classroom, but also could maybe facilitate meetings a little bit more efficiently too, so administrators don't have to leave campuses. And you know, I think got a lot of potential for use there, so that's kind of exciting. So I'll stop there. Lots of good stuff going on.
Good. All right, thank you, Ms. Conrad. Okay, now it's time in the agenda for the consent agenda. And just so folks in the audience that may not be aware, the board gets the agenda and in advance of the meeting, and we're able to read through everything. And if we have any questions, we can call or email the superintendent and have those questions answered. So in an effort to speed up the process, we have a consent agenda where we will vote items either up or down, or they can be pulled. And so we will do that now. Mr. Cunningham, if you will keep track of this so we can have it back in the form of a motion, we'll go through it.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Under governance considerations, item A, proposed changes to TASB policy DNA local. That is consent. B, proposed changes to TASB policy DNB local. That is consent. TASB policy update 104-104. That is consent. Under superintendent's division reports, considerations, and purchases, under A, District of Innovation Plan. That is consent. Under B, 2016-2017 procurement of legal services. That is consent. Under learning division reports, considerations, and purchases, I'm pulling item B under this. That is going to be an individual. That's optional flexible school day program. C, dual credit attendance application. That is consent. Under financial services division reports, considerations, and purchases, item A, tax refunds, consent. B, waiver of P&I, consent. Budgetary amendments, consent. Investment pool authorized representatives, that is consent. There are no items under human resources reports, considerations, and purchases. Under support services division reports, considerations, and purchases. A, partial release of easement for drainage ditch located on Will Clayton Parkway. That is consent. Utility easement for elementary 28 and middle school 9 property. That is consent. Under district-wide reports, considerations, and purchases, A, goods, professional services, and non-construction services exceeding $50,000 in the aggregate or $25,000 individually. That is consent. Under board reports, considerations, and purchases, A, endorsement of Klein ISD board member Georgianne Rittmeyer, candidacy for District 4A position on the Texas Association of School Boards Board of Directors. That is consent. Okay, Mr. Cunningham, if you can read that back in the form of a motion, I would appreciate it.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I move that the board approve the following items by consent. Under governance, items A, B, and C. Under superintendent's division report, considerations and purchases, items A and B. Under learning division reports, consideration and purchases, item C. Under financial services division reports, consideration and purchases, items A, B, C, and D. Under support services division reports, considerations, items A and B. And under district-wide reports, consideration and purchases, items A. And finally, under board reports, consideration, purchases, items A.
Okay, we have the consent agenda in the form of a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor? 6-0, Ms. Young. Okay, now to the remainder of the action agenda. We've got some information items, and they're regarding the 2016-17 Humble ISD Parent-Student Handbook and some TASB policy updates you'll see there. We also have it as an information item, which we can talk about right now without a motion, regarding policy BQA local and BQB local. That's regarding the changes to site-based and the district, what I call the district advisory committee. It's been circulated in advance. I wonder if there's any comments on those. I believe that some comments were made in the beginning that had made some sense. I want to know if any other board members had any thoughts on those changes.
Comment?
I had just actually noted that in that parent section 2, that was on BQA.
Yes.
It says from members of campus site-based decision-making committees.
Yes.
I might have noted that I felt that that was somewhat limiting.
Okay. Well, the idea behind it, because I'm the one that put some of this language together, was what we wanted is we want representatives of groups that can go back and bring information back, not one-off parents.
That didn't understand the vision of the campus.
Didn't understand the vision of the campus, but also didn't have a method to broadcast what happens at the district decision-making committee back to the campuses to let more people know. And that was kind of the idea, is to have a sounding board, which would have been an organization to allow those parents to serve. And I know that my wife served on a PTO, for example. She was an officer of a PTO, and there were a lot of folks that worked that were officers and members of PTOs and PTAs. But, you know, I can understand how it could be considered limiting. But I mean, that's, you know, we don't have to vote on this the next meeting, but I do think we need to get this policy to a point where it better matches legal to our local policy. That's correct.
So you want to make sure that the parents that are participating are actively engaged in the school, because with all the goals and the objectives and things they're trying to accomplish, and it's interconnected to the district. So, I mean, I understand now, and I work with both PTA and PTOs, and I know with PTOs there are members that do not have to pay. The PTOs will work with parents. So I'm not so sure about PTAs.
Well, and the other thing that we talked about when we were looking at this was the voting mechanism, having an organization that has the ability to vote to put someone on this committee. So that kind of went into the language as well.
I mean, that's actually correct. It's an idea that the parents can vote to have a member representative on the site-based committee, and then from those people who've been voted on the site-based committee, then they're selected by the feeder principals to be on the district decision-making committee from that feeder. You have one from secondary, one from elementary, from that feeder that are parents. So it doubles the parental membership on the district decision-making committee, which I think is a good thing. But it's more of a mechanism to have elections in that, again, a sounding board and someone who's active in the schools. It was kind of the idea wrapped around this. Mr. Cunningham.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I just want to kind of piggyback off of Ms. Morrison. It just so happens that the audit committee, we actually audit these various organizations. So I'm like the parent that came up here kind of confused with the parent-teacher organization, because that could be construed to say PTO, and we only have 8 of them. And then PTAs, we have 33 of those. And so, and as far as the cost factor, the PTA, it only costs $850. So, but looking at that though, it's like you want to be inclusive of everybody. So, and I think in reference was made to education code, I want to say it was 11-2251, we can have other groups, parent advisories or whatever. I think we just need to state it in the language. It kind of says it, but it's not clear that we can have other groups, and so you can be inclusive of everybody.
Okay, so your idea, Mr. Cunningham, is to expand the pool of candidates for the site-based to not only the parent-teacher organization, but to other parent organizations that may exist at a campus.
I would say be inclusive of everybody, yes.
Okay, well, that may be, I think that's actually a good idea. You can include booster clubs, for example, at the high schools, which are very active, and I think that would be a good idea. And so I think we can expand that out to other groups.
But now, are you saying that they are actually, as you go through the membership, there's so many groups?
Well, and Nancy, you're bringing up a good point. So, we're going to have to, the devil's in the details. But all I'm saying, as I see this right here that says parent-teacher organization, that says PTO to me.
Well, the idea behind that is because we do have PTOs and PTAs.
Right.
It referred to the parent-teacher organization,
so
whatever it was. If
okay,
it was
good.
a PTA at a school, for example, Kingwood High School has a PTA, I believe. Fall Creek Elementary, Fall Creek Elementary has a PTO.
Okay.
And Summerwood Elementary, I think, has a PTO.
But I understand what you're saying. You may have a parent advisory or dear, you may have a parent.
Right.
How do we clear that up?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Well, what we'll do is we'll take a shot at it again and resubmit it to the board for further consideration at the next board meeting. Okay? Is that okay with everyone? All right. Good discussion. All right. All right. We're going to go down to the section of the agenda regarding learning division reports, considerations, and purchases. All right. It's time now to hold a public hearing on the adoption of the optional flexible school day program. It is 8:17 p.m. And so we're now, believe it or not, holding a hearing on the optional flexible school day program. Are there any questions from the public regarding this program? If there are, please step up to the podium. Going once? Okay. Miss Patty Pinkley is stepping up to the podium.
I would just like to ask, what is it?
Okay, I will pass that baton to our esteemed superintendent.
This is an optional, it creates a flexible school day option for students at Pace and students at Quest Early College. And so Carol Atwood has been working on this project long before me, and I'd be happy to give her an opportunity to share a brief overview of what it allows for our students.
Thank you. Optional Flexible School Day program is exactly that. We have many students that are enrolled in our school district that are in need of something other than the regular 8 to 4 or whatever the traditional bell schedule is on a campus. This program is designed for students who are at risk of dropping out of high school. They may have even indeed already dropped out of high school and then come back to us in order to complete a diploma. They don't fit the norm, if you will, in some regards for what I said is that traditional school day calendar. So students in this light, many of these children are in our PACE program that runs from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the evening, and they may come for an hour or two one day and then not at all for a couple of days and then 4 hours another day. This is a method of accounting, if you will, for their attendance for us to be able to, as a district, to recapture that money from the state in order to receive the funding for those services that we are providing. And without having this accounting measure under optional flexible school day program authorized by the state, then we cannot seek that type of funding to recoup for those services that we're offering. Ironically also, there's another group of students that fall under this category that are eligible to be in this accounting system for attendance and funding is early college programs. And really that's because many times you have students in the early college program that are not, they get to that point where they're not taking that full load in the calendar. They're taking classes at the college, and many times those are before 7:30 in the morning, or 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening as well. They are our students. They're receiving high school credit as well as college credit. But because they're on a non-traditional calendar, if you will, and schedule, we're not able to account for them in the same way as you can a student within the current day. So this is also a way to be able to recapture some funding that we would be entitled to for those students. Sometimes these students are considered as non-funded students, part-time funded students at best within our confines of our traditional attendance accounting method. If we can adopt this type of program and institute it, then we would be able to capture those students back under optional flexible. And again, it means money for the district and indeed for those services that we are providing.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Atwood. Do you have any other questions from members of the public regarding this program? Okay, hearing no other questions, I close the public meeting. It is 8:21-ish p.m. And now we have, it's time for a motion. Do I have a motion? Motion. You so moved it? Mr. Rushing so moved it? Second. I have a second from Ms. Morrison. All in favor? 6-0 from the board. We have another information item, financial services reports. Those were included in your agenda. If you have any questions, now is the time for them. Okay, that closes out the action items on our agenda. We now come to the time for future board business. Any future board business? Anyone? Hearing nothing. Okay, all right, Ms. Conrad.
I would like maybe just in the form of a report or something. I think we should regularly be examining our data on suspension and expulsion rates and be watching for any types of trends or actions based on any particular groups or different factors like that. So a report would be great. And for last year, and if it could trend, that'd be awesome too. And if it could tell a story, that'd be even better.
Yeah, we track, I know we track it, we just need to be
I know we
providing
track it. I know I haven't seen a report on it.
Okay. A report. Any other future board business? Okay, hearing nothing. Welcome back to school, everyone, and that is all. Meeting's closed.